Somebody needs to mute. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Lunchtime with Anna. I have tremendously missed you guys. I am a new grandma at the tender age of 29. I just became a grandma to my grandson, Denzel Xavier, my heart, my joy. Y'all, I haven't posted it. I haven't been directed yet and to do so, but as soon as I get okay, I will be having him come on. I wanted to, this show right here. So I wanted to make sure that when I came back with, I took a break because I had a circumstance that happened that really kind of, Tennille will understand me when she speaks, kind of had me in the slumps. I'm back. I'm going to kill it. I'm going to be back on air. I'm going to be back doing everything I do, the filming. We're looking to, I do have a few attorneys. Thank you for coming in. And if they're not able to come in, they will be going in afterwards, after the show. So please just make sure that you share this, you like it, you comment, because we do this for the community. We don't do this. I don't do this for numbers, right? It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, because what we're trying to do is just do the right thing and help people, help the community out there. Coming up, King Darius Productions, a production company I work very close with. We're in the process of filming When We Were Young. It is a story of Maurice Navarro Brooks. It is the story of Maurice Navarro Brooks, who they did rob banks. They were 18 years old at this time. They were sentenced to 224 years. He was. The thing is that so many have been released under the CARES Act with former President Donald Trump. The president number, he was 45, I believe, right? 45. So they were able to release a lot of people, and people who actually killed people, and no one ever died in any of these. They were armed robberies, and they were, federal to the bank or whatever. So he's doing federal time. We are in the process of getting actors together and getting that movie out. What we want to do is we want to make short films of all these cases that haven't been heard and kind of put something out there for everybody to kind of see. So shout out to King Darius Productions. We're looking forward to that. They're also editing books. If you guys need books edited, as well as any drawings that you need for a logo, etc., it will be done. And I promise you, you won't be sorry. You guys will see, because that's what I'm going to be using very soon, the new logos. I like to introduce everybody person by person. We're going to start off with Tennille from Peachy Tea Time. This is my girl. She's the one that set all this up. We will be collaborating a lot here in the future to make sure that we get these interviews out to you guys. So Tennille, go ahead and introduce yourself. Hang on, let me get you.
Hello.
Right there. There you go, mommy.
Hi, everybody. My name is the Missus with the Kisses. Mwah. And I have a show called Peachy Tea Time that airs Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. And my brand is basically about crime in our Black community. I have family members that come on my show. They tell their loved one's story on how they was murdered through gun violence, domestic violence, the prison system, and even by the police. Now, I also do other interviews just as well with independent artists, celebrity artists, business owners, comedians, anyone that got something going on. I do interview with them just as well, and that's on Saturdays. But Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is definitely dedicated to crime. So, and I have two co-hosts too, Anna. I have two co-hosts, but they're only on, one is on Wednesday, and then my husband is on with me on Fridays. So that's what Peachy Tea Time is about. So make sure y'all go find me, subscribe, Peachy Tea Time, and time is spelled with the Y. And thank you so much for having me, Anna. I really appreciate you having me here.
You're very welcome. Look, I'm gonna tell you, Mama, I'm dying to transfer you some of my cases from We See You Human Justice Organization. If you're looking to volunteer, please let me know. The more volunteers we have, the more we can help.
Exactly.
You know, I do a lot of traveling on donations. So the more that you guys can help, the better it will be. Now, to introduce the next person, and I'm trying to see if I can get you guys on here the way the StreamYard is giving me a hard time today. So I'm going to go in order just because it's the only way it's letting me do it. So the next person is Shahid. Shahid is one of the activists that are coming in on this case. Shahid, if you could briefly introduce yourself and what exactly you do.
He need to unmute.
Oh, unmute.
I am director of All Inmates Lives Matter, a nonprofit agency in Virginia. You hear me?
Yes, we hear you just fine.
Good. Okay. I work with inmates that have been abused by correctional officers.
Okay. Now, do you do this nationwide?
No, ma'am. Just in Virginia, basically. I will do something somewhere else, but they have to be very close, and they have to have being beat up pretty bad.
Okay. Interesting. So if you guys are in Virginia and have been done wrong by anybody within the system, the correctional officers or anything within the system, you know who to reach out to. And that's good information to know, Shahid. We will be in contact in case I do have any clients that are potential clients that do call from the state of Virginia.
Okay.
The next person is Albert. If you could, please, Albert, introduce yourself.
Can you hear me? My name is Albert. Yes. I'm a gentleman that has a program. It's called Uncle Al's Problem Solving. I do a multitude of things. I do gun permits, LLCs, passports, quick claim deeds, record expungements, and divorces, and I get veterans married for free. And everything that I do is free. So the volunteer part, yes, I will be catching up with y'all for volunteer work. I just retired. I spent 8.5 years in Iraq and Afghanistan, 2 years in Okinawa, and I just left Europe and I'm retired. So now I'm looking to volunteer.
That's awesome. My dad is also retired Army. So for me, I highly respect the military, especially the Army. I am an Army brat. So nice to meet you, Albert. Nice to meet you. Next, we are introducing Mr. Carlos Davis.
He's on mute.
Oh, let me unmute him. Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, if you could, please introduce yourself.
My name is Carlos Davis. I am the father of Lamont Douglas, who is in prison for 90 years from the age of 15 years of age. And they left Michigan, going to visit family members in Virginia. While in Virginia for summer vacation, he was with certain people and relatives that had committed robberies. And
Mr. Davis,
yes.
If I may, let me interrupt you briefly because I want you to tell the whole story where we're more focused. But if who you are is the father of Lamont Douglas, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, give me a second. I'm going to introduce the next activist that's coming in. And hang on one second. And then we're going to get right back to you. Okay, so here we go. Okay. All right. So now I'm introducing Jamil. Jamil is very, very familiar to my platform. Jamil, thank you so much for taking out of your busy schedule to come on real quick. You're going to be hearing the whole details about this. I think he's calling in because he's having technical difficulties. But Jamil is very, very, very familiar. He actually does the broadcast, Two Brothers and a Boricua, with me. So we do talk about topics that affect our people of our community, us original people, people of color, and things that we go through as a whole, and uniting it all, because there is that separation, and whether we believe it or not, we're all the same. Okay, so Mr. Davis, if you could now, let's start with the case, go into detail, and tell me step by step what's going on with your son's case.
Anna, we have one more person.
Okay, that's right, Felicia. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
If we may, let's introduce Felicia. And she's also Davis?
Now, Hogan, she is the aunt of Lamont.
Okay, so she's the aunt of Lamont. Okay. So,
Go ahead,
Jamil, are you in?
Yes, I'm in.
Good afternoon. My name is Felicia Hogan. I'm Lamont Douglas's aunt, and I'm just concerned about his liberty and be reconciled with his family and be an active citizen in this life.
I love it.
Did you hear?
I did. I heard her. Thank you for that, Felicia. And your input's going to be very, very important, coming from a different standpoint, right? From somebody who does love him and wants him home. All righty. So let's start off with Mr. Davis. Mr. Davis, since you're just here on sound, I'm not going to put you on the big screen. Go ahead and say what you have to say.
Okay, again, my name is Carlos Davis, the father of Lamont O'Shea Douglas, who is an inmate in New Jersey at this point, but was convicted in Virginia at the age of 15. And Lamont had originally visited Virginia for summer vacation, and while on vacation, some friends and one of his relatives had committed some robberies. Once he was in Virginia, they committed another robbery, which the relatives were captured and implicated Lamont. Once they were arrested, the relatives or the friends implicated Lamont as one of the people doing the robbery. And so after they charged him and took him to court, there were statements made that they're going to show out-of-towners about Virginia. That statement probably was made in 1992. And since that time, we can't find those statements or records. He was sentenced to 90 years or 95 years. And he served of that time 30 years and was transferred to New Jersey from Virginia approximately 7 years ago. And since that time, he has went from a high security level 5 to a trustee, and is recommended for parole. By
Okay,
him
so
being,
Mr. Davis, I'm going to stop you there for a second. They have to understand. With Virginia now, quick question. Was this by any chance done by reporters, said in any newspaper article? Was this said, could this be an archive somewhere? Could this maybe be in the news, like there was a broadcast at that point that maybe you guys can go back to the archives and look? Was there rumors? Was there an article? Was there something that was done that maybe can help bring that fight back to the court? Or have you guys tried that outlet already?
I'm not sure of that. We were unaware that he was even picked up and held for about 3 days until the family was notified that he had been charged with offense of robbery. And then that's when the auntie that he was there visiting notified us as the family in Michigan. It was like 3 days. I believe this happened on a Friday, and he was there until Monday when we were notified that he was even locked up. And then after that time, we got notice that he was charged as an adult. And they transferred him from, I believe, the juvenile facility to adult attention facility. And that transfer was done illegal, according to the court records. He was taken to a juvenile hearing and transferred from that point over to the adult attention without family being there at the hearing and without me or his mother being there at the hearing. And when I say hearing, I mean the transfer from a juvenile to an adult. And when we requested,
go ahead.
We requested transcripts of that. And then the only transcript that they can give us was the ones from the probation hearing saying, well, you're acting as an adult, you're going to be charged as an adult. And some statements were made that he said that he was grown, according to police statements.
So let me ask you a question. And that's according to the police department. Honestly, I don't, they must have done this pretty swiftly. My question to you is, okay, so this was on the, my original question was this on the news, or was it something that didn't happen so big?
I'm not for sure. I wasn't aware that it was on the news. We were in Michigan at the time that Lamont was in Virginia on a summer vacation.
Okay. Okay, so you guys were on the news. I understand. So it wasn't something like that happened. Okay, I see. Okay, so when he gets arrested, they start questioning you guys, or they start questioning him, treating him as an adult. When in all actuality, he's technically not old enough to even be questioned on his own. Is that correct? Because it was,
that's correct. He was a 15-year-old juvenile at the time. And no one could identify him in a lineup. No one could identify him at trial. And so there were a lot of judicial misconduct at his trial hearing. Now, in 1994, when he filed an appeal, the appellate judge remanded that case back and annulled it. But Virginia
Hold on one
somehow,
second. Carlos, hold on one second. Albert, can you hit your mute button?
Huh?
Can you hit your mute button?
Hitting it.
Okay, go ahead on, Carlos.
like Virginia somehow charged him with an offense, and the judicial misconduct was there during the trial. No one could identify him, and they just went on with the trial. After trying him the second time, they gave him 20 years, 20 years, 20 years consecutive, adding up to 90 years.
The other, whoever did commit this crime, are they even charged? Are they doing any time for this crime? Period.
No, they were charged. They went to juvenile. And I believe they got like 6 months or something like that.
Oh,
And
wow.
they were released. He was the only one from out of town,
Mhm.
and so they charged him as an adult. The other guys that got caught in the robbery led the police to Lamont, who was at home at the time. And so this is how he got set aside from all the other individuals.
Okay. Wow, that's a lot. Now, okay, let's go back. He sits here, he goes to trial. I'm sure by now you guys have read the transcripts or whatever. I'm sure there was a lot of
Yes.
things that you guys have figured out. You guys have any attorneys working the case?
No, after 30 years, Lamont, right now, he's ready to come home. As
Okay.
far as New Jersey goes, that institution where he's at. But Virginia has this hold for him, on him,
Okay.
for whatever reason, and says he's not completed enough stability. And that's the only reason that they ever use. Bring them more of a stable adjustment attitude and things of that nature. And he's completed all the programs that was ever offered. He's even started some programs, and he is actively fighting his own case right now. And he goes to court tomorrow, the 28th, for a hearing on the New Jersey statute of jurisdiction, which they don't have jurisdiction over his conviction. But him being in New Jersey, and they're doing the evaluations on him because he's there, they see fit that he should be paroled. But when they send their findings to Virginia, Virginia is rejecting it. Virginia is not accepting the decisions of New Jersey.
Okay. Now, what is the reason that they're saying okay? Because so let's go back. Let's fast forward, right? And Tennille, help me out as much as you can because I know you're very familiar with this case too, and I appreciate it. If Albert, you as well as Shahid, as well as Jamil, who's on the line. If you guys have any questions or if you guys have anything that you guys would like to add or anything, let me know. Step in, right? So my question to you is, so okay, he's sentenced to his life of 99 years. Was that correct? 99 years?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So he
Yes.
gets sentenced to 99 years. While he's in Virginia, because of where he's at, we'll just say it's a racist county, right? The system says he's not progressing at all. He gets transferred over to Virginia, or I'm sorry, to Jersey. From Jersey, he turns around. From Jersey, he turns around and he goes to they do the mental treatment. They realize, well, wait a minute, after a year, he hasn't been doing anything. He's actually pretty normal. They start putting the security down within 30 days. Once the security is down within 30 years, I'm sorry. Once the security's down, he's now down to a trustee. Jersey says, hey, I want to parole this guy. He's down to a trustee. We don't see anything wrong with him. He's able to go back to society. He's 15 years old. Although there was, did we mention, I didn't get it because I got out of air real quick. I lost signal. Did we mention what had happened with the correctional officers and the abuse that the guys were enduring while they were in there? Because I think that
he didn't mention that yet. He didn't mention that yet.
Let's go to that, Mr. Davis, if you could.
And Carlos, you're on mute at this time. You need to unmute yourself.
Are we backing up to when he was in Virginia at Red Onion?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I would like to fast forward
Okay.
because the time has since passed and we could bring up those issues about the assaultive behavior and the way they treated the guy and him staying in ad seg for years and what they called the hole for about 4 or 5 years. But at this point, he's in court now raising issues as to his status of trying to be released. But if that's where we need to go, I think we could go there.
Yeah,
I
well,
mean,
what I was trying to do was just give him a full background because it's going to kind of leave it up in the air of, okay, so why did we send them over to Jersey? Like, why did we just send them? Because normally they don't do that that I'm aware of, right? They don't do that with too many inmates, transfer them from one. It is possible, but it's not as common because they want to fill the prisons within their state. They want that funding to come to their state, right? If that makes sense. So that's
yes,
why
it makes sense. But in these
that's okay.
in these cases, they transfer these inmates that speak out, that challenge the system and their corruption. And when they write grievance and write court motions, lawsuits, then they are retaliated against. And then upon being retaliated against, and they're looking at, hey, well, I have this 90 and 50 years on me. I need to protect myself. So in doing so, at some point, he was trying to protect himself from being abused, and officers got hurt. And so they did take him to court And in some cases they threw it out, but then they decided to transfer him. And in the transfer, in his profile, they had a profile that didn't match the Lamont's personality. And once at New Jersey, they were shocked to see this person with this profile. So, so they kept him under, I guess, classification for a long period of time to see if he was either just putting on a facade. But it turned out that, you know, they determined that this profile that was sent over doesn't match the person.
Mhm.
And since that time, he has become a trustee in New Jersey,
Okay.
leaving Virginia on a class 5 security, and that's the highest security there is for inmates.
Okay.
That's
Okay, so I do want to say a couple things.
okay.
And these just could be questions that the audience is thinking about just as well. He was 15 when he went in. Now, from the age of 15, you know, he done got tried as an adult. He got sent over to the adult prison, we'll say. And then, I'm sorry, Isha? Felicia?
Supermax prison.
I'm sorry, say it one more time.
He was sent to a supermax prison.
Okay.
Mhm.
He was sent to a supermax prison. This is his aunt that's on the line just as well. So he was there. How long, Michael, was he at Red Onion? Because he's been locked up for a total of 30 years as of now. Okay. So how long was he at Red Onion before they sent him to New Jersey?
Oh, he's on mute.
Carlos? You're on mute, Carlos.
It was approximately 20 years.
Okay, so he was there for 20 years. They decided that they're going to go ahead and ship him over there to New Jersey. He goes to New Jersey, everyone, and he's doing great. He's doing great in New Jersey. He became a trustee. This was in a minimum of 5 years, correct, Carlos?
From the first year he was there, they seen a difference. They was stated, I called to get a mental update. They says we had to keep him in classification longer than usual because the profile didn't match the person that was sent over. And now that we have classified him and evaluated him, they put him in population. And so he has went from general population to a trustee status.
Okay.
And he's
So
held
when he was in Red Onion, he was in a whole nother environment. Anna, that's one thing that I talk about on PGT Time just as well. Not as far as in the prisons, but just in the homes. Sometimes you have to switch up your environment. If you see that your child is not doing good or people is constantly bothering them in one environment, you switch to another environment. So they have switched him to another environment. And now he is the outstanding guy that he's supposed to be. They're ready to let him out. They're ready to parole him. The question is, why is it that Red Onion has the right to say, no, we're under jurisdiction, but they sent them away? If they sent them away to Jersey, then Jersey should have all rights to what happened. To what happened.
Well, Virginia law states that he was convicted in Virginia and he has to go by all the Virginia laws, even though he's in New Jersey. I do have a call in that was just called. His name is Darwin Osborne. He's on the line now. He has the same situation. He was at Red Onion, and he himself was there with Lamont, and he could probably share some of those things that you were asking, how Red Onion treats the inmates, what makes them get transferred.
Yes, we definitely want to know what some of the challenges that Lamont and Darwin has went through at Red Onion.
Yes. Are you there, Darwin? Yeah. They were asking you, what were some of the challenges that were at Red Onion?
Fine piece of line, period. Always being called nigger, coon, spade, porch monkey, crow, ass kissing, corn. So the challenge was trying to keep your sanity. That was the biggest challenge of all. Anywhere you turn for justice, you're speaking to the people that violate you, family members. Whether it's the medical, whether it's the administration, even the warden. If you go to the court, it's the same nepotism. There is no relief. It makes you explode.
So go ahead.
On that note, there's been several times when Lamont has written and said that every time he comes up to even be dropped as a level from level 5 to level 4, they would come around to his cell, and keep in mind he's locked up on level 5 23 hours a day. They would come down at certain hours of the night and says, let's pick with this person or that person,
That's a common practice.
to give them a charge to make that classification stay at level 5.
Yeah, they falsifying a whole lot of charges. That's what they do. They write false bogus information on you to trick you up. They know all about the parole. They rely on and work with the parole people. Some of the parole people was working at the prison. The guy who interviews it, Brian, he's one of the main ones that was at the prison falsifying documents. That's what I was meaning by nepotism. It's a bunch of racist nepotism. There's nowhere to turn. If you don't defend yourself, you just might as well lay down and die. Several prisoners there have been teeth knocked out their mouth, head busted open, stitches all over the place. Nah. People fight back. That's the bottom line. They beat you up and jump you and then yell out, fight back, nigger, while they whoop your ass. And got a video camera that they omit the information so nobody can see what they're doing.
Now, do they have anything in place for inmates that when they are being attacked, or anything that they can, is there anything that can be done on their part?
What she say?
The question was, is there anything that the inmates can do or anything that they can turn to expose this?
Fight back. You ain't got no choice. You got no, I ain't saying to be belligerent, but I mean what I'm saying. You have no choice. If you want to give a Red Onion and the details of all the prisoners that have been abused and reaching out, they can go to a gentleman named Shahid Omar. He's a prison advocate over there. He writes the letters to all the governors, all the senators. Man, he writes letters to everybody, the warden, the director. He keeps notes, affidavits. He has a log. Shahid Omar has a list from when we all were getting beat up from when Red Onion opened to the moment we got transferred. They transferred specific ones because those ones, like myself, was fighting back, refusing to be physically abused all the time and cut up. And they sent us out of state because they knew once Virginia done away with segregation, we had to be released. And it was a possibility. The fight now is not doing in isolation, segregation sections of the prison. It can be on the yard. One person has already went on the yard and stabbed the officer 12 times and beat him up and squeezed his testicles to put him down. He healed and went on the yard and taught the officer to stand him up. They transferred him over here too. So they know that the abuse that they have done to us comes with repercussions.
So my question to you is this. So we know of the abuse that has been done, and we know, there has been self-defense, right? And that's what I want to make clear, according, and these are allegations. So, all this is sorted out, right? I want to make sure I make that statement on the air. There are allegations, and they're true, Now, I want to make sure that I mention on air, when you turn around and you're doing this, how many guys in that particular prison, that high max, how many guys did that happen with?
She's going in and out. What is she saying?
How many guys do you know that this has happened with in this prison of Red Onion that you can name?
That you can think of off the top of your head.
I have several affidavits that I write myself, and I used to keep a logbook, but they found it and took it. But I write affidavits every single time I see a prisoner being abused, and I contact Shaheed Omar. He's the prison advocate. He keeps records of all of that stuff. It's a common practice.
I think I know of 3, and
So,
that is a guy by the name of Butler, James Butler.
I will have to go on my files and pull out my affidavits. I have to pull them out. But who do I send them to?
You can send me. See, the reason why I'm asking, I am connected with some attorneys and some advocates, paralegals, so forth, so on. And usually what they do is that you have to have at least 20 different affidavits written, right, with the same thing going on. Because 20 different people are not going to say the same things going on at different stages in their life. You see what I'm saying? Or of their sentence or whatever. So what happens is that then they do what they call a class action lawsuit, and they'll have to see what grounds that would stand on, because there has to be cameras within the Department of Corrections over there in that prison in Virginia. I'm not sure if they play the videos. A lot of times the videos disappear, as we all know. The evidence isn't there, or by the time we get the video, it has been, what is the word? Edited a few times. So, and I'm not saying everybody in the department, I want to make something clear. Not everybody in the Department of Corrections is a bad person. Okay. But there are those bad apples, and we will expose them. There's amazing people who work in the Department of Corrections and absolutely love what they do. Like, I love advocating for people. And this is what I wake up every day to do, and do it with passion and do it with love. So, Shaheed, I'd like to ask you, if you could, I know you have a log there. How many, can you give me just a number? How many people do you think you have connected to your, how many people do you think you have, or how many cases do you think you have connected to your, to this situation going on in Virginia? Oh, unmute. I'm sorry. Here.
And it was opened by a guy named
again?
Ron.
I'm sorry. Can you start again, Shaheed?
Red Onion opened in 1998, and it was started by officer named, not an officer, but a director named Ron Angelone. And Ron Angelone, very well, he real smart, and he knew that across the country there was prisoners, there were prisons that had a part in the prison called the SHU. That's where they held inmates 24 hours a day without any outside connections with anybody.
I've interviewed a few people like that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so
which is
instead
cruel
of
and unusual punishment, so that you guys know. That is cruel and unusual punishment. Everybody needs vitamin D. It's the truth. So go ahead.
Yeah. In Virginia, there was a prison called the SHU. I forget the name of the prison, but they the ACLU filed a suit against them, and they won. They won, and so the prison promised not to have anybody else in the SHU. So Red Onion was built as a SHU, not just a prison with a department in it called the SHU. Red Onion and another prison called Wallens Ridge in the same area of Virginia, in Wise County, was built as a SHU. And the warden told the people who were applying for jobs in that area, he told them, he said, in this prison right here, you're going to get the worst of the worst. And so he told the people a lie. And so the officers said to themselves, these inmates coming here, particularly most of them black, are coming here to hurt somebody. And so their attitude was, we're going to hurt them first. And so that's what they do. That's what they did. That's what they do. Right now, Red Onion is being ran as a private prison, though it's not private. It's a state prison. And it's ran by a guy named Harold Clark, who was very intelligent, African-American from out of the Virgin Islands. And so he's afraid of most of the people that work at Red Onion, because these white boys, they ain't no joke. They serious. And they will put their hands on you. And most of the people who come through that prison, if they have any intellectual ability, officers will put their hands on you. And then after they put their hands on you, they'll ship you like they did the guy on the other line, Osborne. They ship him out of that state to another state. And this is really crazy, because they take a prisoner whom is not from that particular state and ship him to that state. And so he's now fighting his case from another state, though he's a state, a prisoner of Virginia. He's in, like Osborne, he's in Colorado fighting his case, and people don't care about him being in Colorado. They don't know about him. All they know is he's from Virginia. He's a knucklehead. That's what they say. And so that's the situation their inmates are caught up in. They call it interstate compact, interstate transfer compact, where they take a prisoner and transfer him to another state, though he's not from that state. And then he has to fight his case from that state. And so if he doesn't have anybody on the outside, like myself and people like you, to help him fight his case, he's in trouble. So he's in real trouble. And so he gets beat up in Virginia, sent to another state like Colorado, Indiana. The ACLU just filed a suit, or just won a suit, against Red Onion State Prison to deal with solitary confinement. And the judge named James P. Jones, African American judge, federal judge in Virginia, awarded some inmates some money and took the side of the ACLU and not the Virginia Prison Department. And so this suit is real good, because it's going to help a lot of prisoners come away from under Red Onion situation. And so things are getting ready to change at Red Onion and Wallens Ridge, because James P. Jones is helping these inmates to change the situation. And so Red Onion is what it is. It is a prison that officers were hired and believe that inmates come there to hurt them. And so instead of inmates hurting them, they hurt the inmates. You know?
Oh, I see.
And it's a terrible situation.
Wow. Thank you so much for that, Shahid. Albert, is there anything you'd like to add to that?
Well, what it seems to me, and I'm just on the outside looking in, if they can't break you, they ship you to somewhere else.
Yeah,
these are the people that they ship out, not the ones that they beat down, and they ship out the people that they can't break, the people that as they put pressure on them. Remember, pressure will bust a pipe or make a diamond. And the ones that They got to get rid of them, but they want to retain the jurisdiction over them. And it's not fair because the people, the taxpayers of the state like Colorado, where Derwin is at, they are housing him at their expense. Where Virginia is retaining control of their life, but they're not the ones because they couldn't handle them in their little prison. And I'm looking at something that I just sent Miss Peachy Tea Time about Red Onion, where human rights criticism. They got it's called Amnesty International in 2001. Which, like he said, they, especially Mr. Davis's son, he was a out of towner. You dig what I'm saying? And because I've been a bounty hunter for 30 years, I know how they do out of towners. You are upon completely different than a local.
That's right.
And so they go, and Mr. Osborne is a diamond. They couldn't break him. Mr. Davis' son is a diamond. They couldn't break him. So they ship him out. These other prisons take him in, whether there's some kind of financial incentive for them to take these prisoners, because I only know if you're in the federal system, you transfer to these foreign places. My brothers who were in the federal system transferred, but these are local. This is a local conviction, but they're sending them to another state.
Let me interject something. My son did 18 years. And the way I got involved with the system was through contacting an inmate that my son introduced me to. My son did 18 years, and he was at Red Onion and Wallace Red. The reason why they never shipped my son is because I promised him. And I threatened him. And I told him if they ever put their hands on my child, somebody else was going to pay for it. And so they never did. My son never told me about it. Now, after being out of prison 4 years, he's talking about being beat up. But he wouldn't talk about it while he was locked up because he knew that I was going to retaliate. And I was possibly going to be put on death row for my retaliation. You know, so that's what they do. That's what Red Onion does. But now it's getting ready to change because the judge has finally said, y'all really doing this stuff. Y'all keeping people in solitary confinement for 10, 20 years. Y'all really doing this? Yeah, they doing it. And they got it on paper. They doing it.
Wow. Unbelievable. I'm just like, I'm in shock, right? But it's like, okay, so I've been doing the whole activist thing. I think this is my 5th or 6th year. And it's like every story you hear, it's like, does this even really still happen here in America? Does this really even still happen? And it's like real life slavery. Like you guys would have to do what I do to understand, and what are these other activists do, or what Tennille does, and interview these people and be like, these families, and be like, yes, this really does happen. These people are really held hostage to a certain extent. Now, my question to you guys is, which is really good that there was a lawsuit. It was favorable. It came back favorable, which meant that the judge looked at the law, and that's what a judge does. They're going to look at the law. They're going to look, okay, is this something that falls within the law, or did they break the law? Yes or no, blah, 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 blah. And that's how it goes, pretty much. Now, my question to you guys is, so we're going to court tomorrow morning, and this is the whole reason why we're airing this. So we're going to court tomorrow morning. If you guys can, please like, share, comment, because I was not able to share this interview till just now. For whatever reason, I was blocked from social media. So please try to share it as much as possible, because this needs to be out. Okay. He's going to court tomorrow, and it's very important for this family to get justice. Remember, he was 15 years old. When you were 15 years old, were you doing the same thing? I'm assuming he's in his 40s now. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
He's in his 40s.
That is correct.
Okay, so think about how much you've changed from the time you were 15 years old to where you're 40. Again, Jersey is saying, look, we see no mental health issue. We see no problems. Let's just go ahead and just release it. But on the other hand, Virginia said, no, this is our guy. He's a convicted felon. He did this crime, which, mind you guys, and I have to add this because I'm not sure if it was mentioned at the beginning or not. The guy was no one died in this crime. No one died. I'm not saying what happened was right. I'm not going into detail with all that. That's not my job as an activist. My job is, did anybody die? How old were you? Are you able to be reformed when you come out? Do you have family support? Do you have things that you want to do out in the public to help others, not go through what you've gone through? Obviously, there's family support here. I'd like to include in Felicia. Felicia, if you could step on in and give an opinion on, all of this, coming in as his aunt, who has seen pretty much just us as aunts. I have my nieces and nephews, as I'm sure Tennille does. Those are like our second kids. Those are our babies. So I can imagine that was hard for you. If you could please describe it from an aunt's point of view. Is Felicia there? We lost Felicia. Okay. So, Mr. Davis, if you could go, we're waiting for Miss Felicia. Mr. Davis, if you could,
yes,
we're waiting for Miss Felicia. Could you please give us some give us some background on exactly how's Douglas been doing all this time, especially awaiting this court date that's coming up tomorrow. And you know what? I want to give you guys a round of applause because not everybody has family support. I do interviews all the time, and a lot of times it's one family member doing everything. This is a lot of support, and you guys also have my support. Like I said, I'll make sure that you guys have a letter ready to go. If you guys need another activist to give, their opinion or whatever tomorrow morning at court, I have no problem with that whatsoever. So again, did I lose Mr. Davis? No, Mr. Davis. How is his spirit? How is he doing? After being incarcerated from the time he was 15 to his 40s now, and he's been in there for 30 years. 30 years is a long time, you guys. A lot changes in 30 years, especially when you're 15. Your sound.
To get some remedy, nightmare. It's starting to see a light.
Your sound is coming in and out. If you could try to pull the phone a little bit away from your face, if at all possible, please. Go ahead and repeat what you said.
From this long incarceration, he is now starting to see from this case, going back to court to try to get a remedy as to his release or some sort of home confinement. But still, Virginia has the ultimate say-so. And so I guess we now have to take it up with the Virginia parole boards, write the letters to the parole boards, and whether we have to do a petition or whatever, but we need to stay fully on board to see that this court makes the right decision and see that Lamont has come a long way from 15 and he's almost 50 now, and he should be released.
ahead.
So, and that's the same with Mr. Osborne. He's done enough time, and on the record, it says for itself, the court had no jurisdiction. And so when the court says that, and then you ask them for favors, then that right there is blatant judicial misconduct, and the case should have been annulled or reversed a long time ago. And that's the same way with Lamont. He had no eyewitnesses. There was no one that picked him out in the lineup. In trial, they couldn't identify him. So,
Okay.
and it was a statement that says, "Can we convict him with no evidence?" And then they came back with the determination, yes.
Okay, I have Mr. Davis. If I could, I have also Jamil Nasir on the phone. He's been listening in. He wants to interject really quick, if that's okay. And then right after Jamil, and we have back and forth. I'd like to go ahead and add Miss Felicia in and her input as well. So go ahead, Jamil.
Good afternoon.
Yes, am I supposed to chime in right now?
No, she's talking to.
That the court had no jurisdiction to prosecute the young brother.
Mm-hmm.
Do they not know that that's not only? I heard the man say that it was prosecutorial misconduct.
Mm-hmm.
Does he not understand that is not just prosecutorial misconduct, but it is also
Federal.
it's a constitutional violation.
Yeah, constitutional. That's what I meant by federal. Mm-hmm. Due process. Due process. Exactly.
Due process violation in any state in the United States is an automatic grounds for a retrial, because due process of the law is the only way by which a conviction can be upheld,
Mm-hmm.
or a warrant or anything can be valid. It has to be found, or the verdict has to be rendered by way of due process.
Mm-hmm.
If the courts do not have jurisdiction, then they have no jurisdiction. So they're not able to render a judgment. They're not even able to bring you into their courtroom to try you without jurisdiction.
So let me ask you a question, Jamil. Because you're very familiar with the way I approach a lot of my cases, and as an activist who works side by side with me and who works with my organization a lot. Question: do you think that because of his age and everything? I mean, I'm not very familiar with Virginia law, right? Do you think that if this isn't, this doesn't go favorable for him tomorrow, do you think a clemency pack would be an option? What are your thoughts?
Right now, I'll really be more concerned with what is the grounds that they're really about to attack his conviction on, more so than how the court proceeding goes, the grounds. Because in court, one thing they had to realize this: you're dealing with a system, and the system is set in place, truthfully, to violate their own rules.
Mm-hmm.
They have loopholes to be exploited for their purposes, but like I said, it's set up to be violated. It's a surface law for you, and it's a secret law for them.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go into the courtroom and you can be absolutely right in everything that you argue.
Mm-hmm.
But because you don't know the language, they'll dismiss your case.
Absolutely.
Everything you can be saying can be absolutely true.
Absolutely. I think we
But
all
because
agree
you
on
don't
that.
speak the proper language, they're gonna dismiss it. So I think more so than the clemency or even how the court date goes itself will be determined by the grounds and the way it's communicated.
Okay.
You need to be able to speak the language.
Okay.
And the lawyers that you have, that you might have to go in there, they can't be afraid to tell these people the facts. Because you have a lot of times that people will go in front of a municipality judge or in a courtroom setting, and they'll be afraid to tell the people, you know, you're breaking the law too. And a lot of times, this is what happens in the courtroom. You guys have to be, when you go in that courtroom, you have to be able to tell these folks, and if the lawyer is not doing what you guys are telling him that he or she needs to do, you need to check he or she, him or her, in the courtroom.
Yeah. Yep. A lot of people don't know that, and that is the facts. In the courtroom, you sure do.
Because
That's right.
because you need these things to be
On record. Yep. So, and that's for anybody listening in. It needs to be on record.
On record.
Mm-hmm.
That you're not doing what I told you to do or what I asked you to do, what you were hired to do.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to make it. This is not what we want to argue today, Your Honor. This man or woman, if they're not saying what you want them to say, get up in the courtroom and ban the outburst.
Because that outburst can free that person in the future. And this is for all of us original people. Please keep this in mind for future references. Yep.
You know, do not be afraid to stand up in the courtroom and speak out.
That's right.
Against the prosecutorial misconduct.
That's right.
Against the constitutional violation. Against the racial injustice. You put it on record.
Absolutely. Jamil, that was a very good point.
Everything that's being said in that courtroom has to be recorded.
That's right.
So if they deny it at this level, it's still on record.
Absolutely.
It's still on record. And the steps that you're taking now by bringing national attention to it and speaking on podcasts and bringing light to the situation is the best thing that you guys could possibly be doing right now, because so much stuff is being revealed, not just about, like in your case, but nationally and internationally, and truth is coming out.
And Mr. Davis, if you'd like, maybe we can do a short documentary through various productions to try to get it more out there. And this is stating that it doesn't go favorable, but we're going to speak life into it. It's going to be favorable tomorrow, and stand together on that. And that's what it's going to be, period. Now, I'd like real quick, if I could, have Miss Felicia step in real quick and give her stepping in as an aunt. How was it losing your nephew at the age of 15?
Okay, so she wants to know, Isha, she's ready for you now, and she wants to know how did it feel at the age how did it feel for you to have lost your nephew at the age of 15 to the prison system?
Yes, so being that Lamont didn't kill anybody, he was implicated, and he was charged with his hefty years as a juvenile. I think the judicial system did an injustice in setting the sentence for him, because originally it started out as 170 years. And through the course of time, that sentence did go down, was resentenced a couple times. I think that there's a huge amount of injustices in the court, in the prisons, in the parole board, and there's absolutely nobody that you can turn to really get anything done about it. I mean, it's like these state prisons are on their own. They're not challenged by anybody. They don't answer to anybody. And lawmakers and Congress people, the state of Virginia, the governor, the Justice Department, they all are well aware of what's going on inside Red Onion State Prison, but nobody is stepping up to the plate to say anything. Nobody is issuing any type of ordinance for Red Onion to clean up its act. Their practice and their motto is to strip the inmates of all dignity and all humanity. And that was a statement that was given by an employee, a staff member of Red Onion. That's what they based their prison on. Now, I'd like to mention that out of 25, 27 years that Lamont was at Red Onion, he was not qualified. He was not deemed as worthy of taking any type of educational, vocational courses to, be positive, to keep his mental status focused on something positive. He was denied as a juvenile any vocational services. He was denied as a young adult any vocational services or any other form of developing himself, to keep the prisoner's minds occupied. He had to do that on his own, and he did an excellent job teaching himself. As a man, he was denied vocational classes. So on every level, out of 27 years, Red Onion had negative to say about Lamont. And as soon as he's transferred over to New Jersey, in a short period of time after the year's classification, which is a long time to be classified, he became a trustee and he started classes for the inmates. I mean, he's doing all these wonderful things. Now, out of 27 years, Red Onion can have nothing good to say about Lamont, and there is nothing positive in his profile. So how could it be that in 2 years' time that he's a trustee in New Jersey and has completed everything that they have required under a false pretense, because Red Onion states they are in jurisdiction of Lamont's being paroled, and he needs to be doing what they deem as what their status is. So how can you send an inmate to another state and still have jurisdiction? That's a judicial loophole, or should I say, the laws of the land for Virginia and the lawmakers. There's a loophole there that should not be. And if Red Onion was tired of him, or they got rid of him to clean up some act that perhaps they may have done, to keep things on the hush, then they should be denied the authority and jurisdiction to challenge whether Lamont should be paroled or not. Now, this issue with the parole board,
Let me unmute.
pardon me?
What did you say, Anna?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was
Oh, okay. Sorry. Go ahead, Isha.
on mute.
Felicia.
Yeah, so with the parole board, their plan and their vision for parole is very low. They denied or overturned parole in 1994, and that means that there is no parole issued to any inmate out of the state of Virginia. And then they came up with this, I forget the title that they call it, but you have to do, I think 80% of your time in order to get out early on parole.
Mm-hmm.
They are not a state. It's a Republican state, and they are not good about letting people out of prison, period, anyway. And for Red Onion to make the statement that Lamont needs to, needs longer time with this newfound disposition and character and behavior, would diminish the seriousness of the crime. He killed no one. No one was killed. And the time they slapped on Lamont is the kind of time that they give mass murderers. Okay, so you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You don't as a juvenile, you cannot go across the board and charge people their whole lifetime in prison. Even as adults, we make mistakes. Lamont got caught up. He was a victim. And now he's being victimized. And the governor of Virginia, the lawmakers in Congress, they all are well aware of what's going on at Red Onion, even law enforcement. So it has been crushing mentally and emotionally for him to have been away from his family and has not been able to have visitation and to be locked up like an animal, worse than an animal, 23 hours a day, and then attacked by correctional officers, and there's no recourse for him,
So Felicia, do you reside in the state of Virginia now or no?
I'm in the state of Michigan, where Lamont was also a resident at the time this event happened, but the crime happened. So he hasn't had any family visits. No.
So let me ask you a question, or let me make a statement before I go and ask you a question. Guys, there's elections for a reason. This is There's elections for a reason. Don't vote for who's the better or the worse, too. Write somebody else's name on there. Get somebody else started. You know, like I said, if you're not about the people, if it's not about the people, don't vote for these people. Period. And I'm really big, and during the elections, I'm very conservative, even though people would not believe it. However, I always seem to vote the other way because what you're talking about, it's of no interest to me, you know, at all. So I usually end up voting anyways the other way, but that's neither here nor there. But what I'm saying is vote for what's right. Don't just vote because you see a popular name or because this person has been in office for this amount of time. Don't do that, because at the end of the day, the laws aren't going to change. How many people have you seen in Congress that have been sitting there 20, 30, 40 years? For what? You're not changing anything. We need something new, especially for us people of color. Especially for us people of color.
The congressional level, because we don't even have a democracy now. And the people that are in office, they are not people of the democracy. And so you cannot have any confidence in that institution even more at all. And we never, the people that we praise, they want to speak to the people. When they get in to office, they get sucked in with all of that rhetoric and how they can, make things hard for the American people, and particularly people of color. Laws were made for 75% of people that are in Driftland are Black and brown people. And many of them are in there for misdemeanors, and they're doing life sentences.
Exactly.
Nobody would stand up for the justice of the state prisons to have and wield any way to excuse that nobody has authority to address their misconduct. And they need to close themselves prisons down because they're not operating on a fair scale. And they will never be able to operate on a fair scale because of who they are.
Okay, I think she's done. She's doing a lot of echoing.
So, Tennille,
Yes.
is there anything else you would like to add? I know you're very familiar with this case, and I'm calling for any activists or any attorneys, any paralegals, anybody who is anybody, right? Who can share, make a call, write a letter. Letters are so important, whether you guys believe it or not. A letter can make all the difference. Trust me, if I write a letter, they're looking at my pages. They're looking to see, what does she do? Who is she? What is her status up there? So just make sure that you guys.
Can you mute Carlos, please?
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead. Now, what you were saying?
Just make sure that you guys get it out there to people, because it's very important, right? Because there are other Douglases out there. There are other clients of mine out there that it's the same kind of story over and over and over again. For people who don't know, the majority of my cases are life sentences. And if you guys hear some of these stories, it's like, how did you get a life sentence? No one died, but it happens. This is a proof. This is a proof. Sometimes, you get overwhelmed because you're like, wow, how can I change? It's almost like you go down a rabbit hole, and that's what they want. You guys, it's time to stick together. Us as original people, let's stick together. Let's stick together.
Exactly. I agree with you on that.
Because right now, the support that I see for this man, because that's what he is at this point, is overwhelming. I don't get this for every client. And I'm sure Shahid and Albert can agree with me. And I'm sure Danielle, with the cases she's seen, she can agree with me. Jamil can agree with me. They don't have any support. The world forgot them. And that's why some of us get up and fight for these guys and these women. I majority get men for some reason. I don't know why women don't reach out to me. It would be nice. It would be nice because I'm a very pro woman, but I don't have women cases.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, is there anything else that, Tennille, you think we should add? We should do, what time is the court date? Where can I get a link? Or Mr. Davis, if you like, you can also, whoever can step in and give their opinion or whatever. What else can we do as the public to help? I will be sharing this. I will be marketing this interview in particular and getting it to as many people as possible by tomorrow, especially in the state of Virginia. I think it's really important. Where are you guys looking for, Virginia or Jersey?
The court date is set for tomorrow at 9 a.m. and that's in New Jersey, Superior Court in Trenton, New Jersey.
Okay, in Trenton, New Jersey. Okay. Mr. Davis, is it possible for you to send me a link?
I'll call to see if there's a link that we could chime in on. I wasn't able to get in because of the automated machines that they have set up.
Okay.
Couldn't get through to anyone.
A lot of times, some of these courts also they do go on YouTube. I've been noticing, and I do watch a lot of cases also from YouTube live. So if you guys would like, and it's okay with you, Mr. Davis, if there is a link, I don't mind sharing it on my page. And Tennille, I recommend you do that too, as well as everybody else. And let's have a lot of people, like I say, let's plan our, let me use the clean version. Let's plan our butts right there in court. And the more people, the merrier. Because I think that when there is people, it shows, well, wait a minute, why are so many people coming out for this person? And when you come out in numbers. Yes, hang on. You may, they can't.
You have to.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Jamil has to ask something here if you guys could. Can everybody mute real quick, please?
My question that I just had to know, how is it that it seems like all of the court proceedings are going on in New Jersey, but all the jurisdiction is in Virginia?
Mm-hmm.
How would that like, if he's being, who really has the power?
Exactly. That's one of the things that I feel the same way. You know, if that, to me, I feel like if they're going to have any type of say so, they might as well have left them there at Red Onion. If that's he went to New Jersey should have right. They say let him walk, let him walk. It's that simple. But it got to be something wrong with them people at Red Onion in Virginia. Got to be something wrong with them. For them to not even have a heart, that this boy has been in there since the age of 15 years old.
That's right.
Regardless of what he has done at Red Onion, he was 15 years old when he was now in Jersey doing exceptional. They should be like, okay, let him out. So we definitely need to find somebody, some type of attorney, somebody that can help with this case.
And like I said, I do have some attorneys that do come in. I don't know, how they would be willing to do it. Some of them are by donations. Others do charge a fee. But, at least you guys know that it will get out to some of them. And we're hoping that somebody does pick it up and they say, I'm interested in seeing how we can help them get out. Because this is ridiculous to see to the extent of the harm, because I already say that every inmate that goes in, and I think if you go in over 2 or 3 years, you've already seen enough to have mental trauma, PTSD, anxiety. But just imagine sitting there for 30 years.
You have to, Carlos, when you're talking. We can't hear you talking unless.
Just imagine from the time that you're 15 years old, you're incarcerated, the PTSD that he has endured. And Jamil was right. Who the heck has jurisdiction? Because the body's over here. So you would think logically, right? Where the body's at is who has jurisdiction. You came down on your security. Obviously, you came down because you're doing something right.
Well, may I say something?
Go ahead.
And you have two types of jurisdiction in law. You have subject matter jurisdiction,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have personam jurisdiction. Now, it appears what you have, Virginia has subject matter jurisdiction, and New Jersey has personam jurisdiction. Because I guess he's locked up in New Jersey, correct?
Yes.
Okay, well, New Jersey would have personal jurisdiction because they have his body. They have his physical body.
Mm-hmm.
But Virginia would have subject matter jurisdiction if they're the ones who sentenced him. Okay, but what's going on is two jurisdictions are conflicting.
Yeah.
But personal, if subject matter jurisdiction would be the initial sentencing. When they transfer the body to another jurisdiction, and they give up the body.
There you go.
Possession is 9/10 of the law.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So if New Jersey has his physical body, they have personal jurisdiction. Then unless Virginia is exercising their subject matter and having him extradited, if New Jersey sees fit to parole him, then he should be let go, because they have personal jurisdiction. They have his body.
Well, in that case,
if they choose to release it, then the only thing that Virginia can do is come pick him up, place the detainer on him, and come pick him up.
Which, in that case, then all of us activists get together and get as many signatures as we can, do a change.org for them, and get all the signatures that we can and get them home. You know, like I tell people, make people uncomfortable. Look, if the board won't release them, plant your butts in front of their house, get a charter bus. Jamil always told me that. Jamil, did you or did you not? I stand behind that. I stand behind that. Make them uncomfortable. They make the rest of everybody, the loved ones and everything, uncomfortable. I don't know if you guys all agree, but that's how I feel. That yeah, you should be held responsible for your part and not doing anything. Mr. Davis, is there anything that you'd like to add?
yeah, I'm just going to respond to what the gentleman just said. Yes, after he goes to court, exhausts all of his, then Virginia can transfer him back to the state. They are refusing to recognize any of the recommendations of New Jersey. And that's why he was trying to obviously their whole in court and go from there, and hopefully we can get people to join in And if there's a petition or protest, or basically a petition, the court look in favor of.
I'm going to make a quick statement to all of us original people. Whenever you do have to protest anything, there is no need for violence. There is no need for that. Let's not do it. Let's not. That's what they want. Let's not give it to them. Okay? Do things in peace. Why? Because in numbers, we make change. You guys, I always tell people, look at Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico, that's my native country. We took down the governor in 17 days. The whole island stood together because of what happened after the hurricanes and got him out of office. If you do things right and you do it without the violence, they actually had parties, they were dancing and stuff, and there wasn't any problems. He had to resign on national TV. So this says here, so really we need to get Virginia, not New Jersey. And that's what I think it's going to boil down. Well, let's not say that. You know what? New Jersey has done them pretty good. New Jersey might just say, the judge might just say tomorrow, hey, go home. You know, we leave it up to Virginia or to Jersey. And that's what we're hoping on. If anybody has any pointers, if I have any activists, because I shared this on a few activist groups that we have, Messenger. If any activist is watching this, any attorney, get at me so that I'm able to contact this family, and give them any pointers before court tomorrow. Anything that you guys might know, especially if you guys know Virginia law, because there might be something written there within the law that might actually give Jersey the right. There might be something there written within the Jersey law that might give him the right to just hold on to him and release him on parole, which he would be going back to Michigan because he wasn't even from Virginia. He was from a different state and he was there visiting family when this crime took place. So it's just things to think about. Now I'm going to let everybody give. I'll let Carlos go last only because he's the father. I'll start with ladies first. I'll start with Tennille, and then we'll go with Felicia after, and then I'll go down the list with the men. Go ahead. You're muted. This beautiful lady.
I don't know what you want me to say. You didn't say what you wanted me to say.
Final thoughts that you have before we get off air. Any final thoughts? I'm sorry. I went ahead of myself. I do that all the time.
That's okay. Yes, my final thought is number one, prayer. Prayer definitely works. Like Anna said, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow when he goes to court. God make miracles happen each and every day. So it is a possibility that they can say, okay, go ahead and walk. So with that being said, I'm definitely going to ask each and every person to pray. If you are a praying person, okay? We don't need none of the extra stuff. So only if you're a praying person, please pray for our family. Second, if there's any attorneys out there, just in case he don't walk out tomorrow, if there's any attorneys out there, any advocates out there, anybody that's watching this show right now that's sitting there like, oh my gosh, I know exactly what can be done and what to do, please reach out to Anna. Please reach out to myself, my IG, my Facebook page, all that is Peachy Tea Time, time spelled with the Y. My personal page is Tennille Latrice Davis. So please just reach out to us if you know anything or anybody that can help. Felicia, do you have anything you want to say in closing?
In closing, I would just open it up that if anybody learns of anything, information that could be that could make a difference, just to please notify myself or Carlos. I know this thing is bigger than any one person, but things need to change with the state prisons across the board, and definitely with Red Onion, the way they treat people, that really needs to be addressed. Even if Lamont walks out tomorrow, there are still other people
Exactly.
who are going through the same thing, and you know, they're living a life of hell behind bars, and there's no one that they can reach out to, and the government is not really working with anybody to see that these things cease. The DOJ is not Department of Justice. They are almost unreachable, and nobody is taking responsibility. But definitely what I have learned in talking with anybody about Virginia and Red Onion State Prison, they are quick to tell you that that the crime happened in Virginia, and so everything has to be addressed through Virginia. But the fact of the matter is, Virginia released Lamont to another jurisdiction. So you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Mm-hmm.
Now, either you're going to give him a fair shake, correct his record, and stop falsifying records to hold people and block their parole. You know, that system really needs to be shut down. They really need to clean house and get a new warden. But I can think of many things. You know, it's just so many areas that needs to be hit. You know, addressed, provoked to action to do something. But you know, they're really bent on having it their way. So that's all I have to say.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Felicia, for that. There is one more thing that I have to say, Anna. Being that I have been doing my own platform going on 2 years now, it's so important, y'all, that you share this video.
Yep.
Like Anna said, if by working in numbers, that make a difference.
That's right.
So please continue to share this video, like this video, follow Anna, follow myself just as well. But most importantly, it's not about me. It's about Lamont getting free. So please make sure you share this video. It's so important. Please share. We're done over here, Anna.
Okay, and I agree with you. The main thing is getting it out there, right? None of these, you know, and I see that you're a lot like me, Tennille. None of this is about, oh, I need the clout or none of that. I don't care. You know, I've done, if you look at my background, I've done acting, like I've done this, like I've done that. And you meet me, I'm the most down-to-earth person. I'm just as humble as everybody else, okay? It's not about that for me. It's about getting it out there and letting people see what it is, because I have a passion to help people. I really want you guys out. You know, these people out. Tennille and I will be doing interviews with a lot of my clients. You guys need to hear these stories too. You know, but we won't go into that all on air with this, but we will be working on that within the next month or two. Also,
definitely.
I'd like for Albert and Shahid to each give their final thought. We'll start with Albert. And then we'll go with Shahid, and I'm gonna let Jamil has something to say. We'll let him say something, and then I'll let Carlos close out.
Say is, first of all, I want to commend you, every one of you, for what you're doing, because it's like turning lights on roaches.
Yeah.
You know what we're doing? We're turning lights on roaches. We need to find the money. Nobody does nothing for free, okay? And what has to go on the ballot in these different states is, if you can't get the jurisdictional with the body, then you give them back the body. You do not let them take taxpayer funds to pay for a body in your state, but you don't have jurisdiction. You see what I'm saying?
That's right.
You got to follow it's the money. Somebody must be getting something, because if you can't handle these people, why are you sending them away?
You better say it.
You dig what I'm saying? At the end of the day, us taxpayers, we fund police and all these different agencies. And when they violate us, we as taxpayers have to pay for them.
Yep.
And so what we have to do is, tomorrow they can do like as being a bounty hunter, as long as I've been a bounty hunter, I know that Jersey can say, you know what, Red Onion, you got 14 days to come get this man. If you don't come get this man in 14 days, we're letting him go.
That's right.
We're letting him go. So us taxpayers have to turn the lights on these politicians that we keep allowing to just be in office and not held accountable.
Mhm.
We have people who went into prison, signed with sound minds and bodies,
That's right.
and then you get PTSD. I was awarded money for PTSD, and I was in the combat zone.
Yep.
These people have what's known as severe PTSD.
Chronic CPTSD.
Oh man, it is terrible.
Yep.
What we have to do is continue to turn the lights on these roaches. See, because they run and hide when you turn the lights on them.
Oh yeah. Or
They
they
run and
take you out of the system. Or they try to close the doors where you can't do anything, but you gotta continue doing the right thing.
And is Miss Peachy Tea Time? Are you in Atlanta?
I'm on mute.
Well, if she's in Atlanta, I would like to get her address so that I would like to meet her. I'm in Atlanta also. But we just have to get legislation to stop one state, because now federally they can move you to state because you're in a federal system. But there should be no way that one state can take a person and send them to another state, but then retain jurisdiction.
Yes, Mr. Albert, I am. I'm having a lot of issues with my internet right now. So
It's okay.
But
It's
I'm glad to hear that you're in America, so I will make sure that I connect with you. But I also want to say this just as well, being that you are in Atlanta, Mr. Albert, you are aware of what's going on right now in Fulton County Jail, as far as the young man that was murdered. I call it murder, allegedly, because we got to say allegedly, but that's what I call it, with bed bugs inside of the jail.
Whoa.
Now they have, he's dead now, but they have Ben Crump. They have Ben Crump that literally came down here to Atlanta and did a press conference to represent that family. How can we get in contact with Ben Crump to help with this case? Because again, it really bothers me that he was only 15 years old and nobody died. Nobody died. So I definitely feel like he should be out. We need to push this story as much as we can. Keep pushing it.
One quick thing that I want to say about that young man also. Think about this. All the people, including one of his family members, right? They didn't do a lot of time. The outsider got the time. The person that was from out of town got the time. How is that possible? How is it that all of your co-defendants get 2 years or whatever they did, and you got almost over 100 years? And you wasn't the one caught in the robbery. You was at home at your cousin's or your aunt's house. But you're the one that got the time. That's crazy.
Absolutely, I agree. I agree. It is. Albert and Tennille, just FYI, I'll be there on the 1st. I'll be there for about 2 weeks. I would love to get together with both of you and discuss some of these cases that I have on my desk, as well as discuss some of y'all's cases and put our heads together and see what we can do to help all of these clients, especially Mr. Douglas. And I'm saying that right. It's Mr. Douglas, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and Shahid, I'm going to give you the opportunity to give your input.
Okay. Ready?
Go ahead. Ready.
I've been doing this work since 1975. I walked out of prison in 75. I went back in prison the same year to do volunteer work. In 2004, my son was at Red Onion, and I found out about the physical abuse of him. And so since 2004, I've been doing this work focused on inmates that are being abused. In a couple years ago, I got my hands on a few dollars, and I got a nonprofit agency called All Inmates Lives Matter. Anything that needs to happen in Virginia, you need to talk to me. My name is all over the Virginia prison system, and there's nobody that has more people writing them as far as inmates are concerned than Shahid Omar. All Inmates Lives Matter. I got the keys to the doors of the prison system in Virginia. I know exactly what to do. I need some help. I've been doing this since 2004, and I do it by myself. I got a board of directors, which is a friend of mine, treasurer, secretary, and president. But actually, I do all the work by myself. I write all the letters. As simple as that. And I'm in contact with all the prisons in the Virginia Department of Corrections. You want to know anything about Virginia? Contact me. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Finally, Mr. Carlos, if you could give your final thoughts and anything that you feel that maybe we've missed out on, that maybe you can go ahead with your input on.
Okay. First, I'd like to reiterate, I want to thank you now for taking this time out. Also, GT Time, who I contacted to request her assistance and help, and she led me to you.
Mike, Carlos, can you go into another area? Because we can't hear him. We want to make sure we hear exactly what you're saying.
Is this any better?
And maybe do you have your phone on speaker? If you have it on speaker, take it off speaker, and that usually helps.
What are you looking for, Journey? What are you looking for, Sophia?
Well, like I said, I would like to thank both you, PGT, and Anna. I went to Time for her assistance and help, and she led me to you, Anna, and I appreciate you taking time out and this opportunity to gather this information and to share Shahid Omar. So again, I want to thank, as far as Lamont, I feel like he has served, he has educated himself while in prison, and so he is actually doing all his own legal work and pursuing his freedom on his own. And we know that he goes to court tomorrow, and call us link, and I'll submit it. Again, to lose, it's possible. Virginia, Jersey, all the remedies there. So All the letters are requested in Lamont's favor. Again, I should give out his number. Lamont Douglas, New Jersey inmate number is OS out of state 0186. That is his inmate number in Trenton, New Jersey. 08.
Hold on one second, Carlos, because I'm sorry, we can't hear him. Can you try to mute everybody except for Carlos and see if
We can. Now, again, and I'm going to ask of you, Tennille, if we're not able to hear it clearly before he gets off air, please do me a favor and send me or post, or any of you post under my this broadcast, post his information, so that if there is somebody who does want to reach out to him, they can for legal reasons or whatever. Go ahead again, Mr. Davis. See if we can hear you better this time.
Again.
Okay, he did fall down. I'm assuming technical issues.
So let's do this. Somebody put in the information for Mr. Douglas, because I think it's very important to get this out, because maybe there might be somebody. Just feel free to comment it. I think you guys can comment from where you're at on the actual broadcast, and I'll go ahead and I'll make sure that I put it up on the top at the end of the broadcast. Mr. Jamil, is there anything else that you'd like to add before I sign off? Okay, I think we lost him too. Oh, wait. We got him. Hang on. I accidentally took you off. I'm sorry. Mr. Jamil, go ahead.
Yes, I wanted to ask, was this young man tried as an adult? Or was he like tried as a juvenile?
My understanding was he was tried as an adult. I mean, they can correct me if I'm wrong. He was tried as an adult.
Yeah.
He was 15 years old. There was a robbery that was done to a pizza guy or something like that, and no one died. There was an injury, but no one died. However, he got sentenced. Original sentence on the first trial was 170 years. They went to trial again, and on the second trial, they gave him 99 years. He was the only one that wasn't from the state of Virginia. Everybody else got 2 years.
Was he identified as the trigger man?
Well, that's what. No. No. They're saying no, Jimmy.
Wow.
Is that accurate, Lisa?
90 years?
Yeah.
That's it. That's
Yes, Mr.
Well, and see, this is why it was so important for me to broadcast this interview today. That's why I did it short notice. I want to help as many people as possible, so that we can get this out, because he was 15, no one died. A lot of my cases are like this, like no one died. Or I do have cases where they're like, look, Miss Anna, I killed him, but it was him or me. And guess what? I wasn't going to die. And I can respect that. You understand me? But to that kind of sentence, now you guys imagine your 15-year-old son getting that kind of sentence. And I'm not saying that kids do. We all know we've all done dumb stuff. I've done stuff that maybe I could have gotten in real big trouble for, but guess what? I didn't. Fortunately, I was very lucky. And I'm sure everybody on this panel at one point or another, as well as Jamil, could have had some type of big sort of trouble. Just like that, because anything can happen just in the snap of a finger. Now, if there's numbers that they're trying to get, if there's certain laws that they're trying to pass at that time, like when they did the crack epidemic and all of that, that a lot of us people of color went to prison. And then, now you get rehab for people who pop pills. That's just not right. When you guys threw those drugs in the middle of our projects. It's a reality.
And I also want to make sure that Jamil knows this just as well, that when the incident with the pizza man happened, the police and stuff came. They checked everything out. They left. They didn't arrest him right then and there. They left, and the other young man went and done another robbery and got caught. And when he got caught that time, that's when they placed the blame on Lamont. And they went to Lamont's aunt's house, cousin house, and went and got him. So it didn't even all just happen right then and there. They literally went off of this other young man who wasn't, I think he was like a year older than him. And they went just basically off of what he said.
So, and according to Virginia law, what is considered an adult? Can you be tried? Because I know the state of Georgia, you can be tried, whether you guys believe it or not. We're working on changing these laws. At the age of 13, you can be tried as an adult.
Mr. Shaheed, do you have that answer? Because he said anything we need to know about Virginia, he knows. So do you have that answer, Mr. Shaheed? It looks like he's froze.
In the state of Virginia, you can be tried as an adult at the age of 14.
14? Just as bad as Georgia. Just as bad as Georgia. We've got to work together to change these laws federally, you guys. Ladies and gentlemen, we do. And again, we're not going to be able to change it just sitting around doing nothing. You got to come up with a plan. You got to bring it up to legislature, because there's a lot of young men and young women that are sitting in there. And you think about it, we cannot procreate as original people. We're sitting in there too long, especially women. Think about all of that. My heart is with Mr. Douglas, as I know everyone on this panel is, as I know everyone who has listened to this interview feels the same. Guys, log in tomorrow. I'm going to try my hardest to see if we can get a link. It will be up on my page if there is a possibility of a link. And like I say, plant your butts on that court. Even if you're not listening to the whole trial or whatever goes on that hearing, at least sit there in support. Just say his name. Just say his name. Hashtag his name. Make a difference. In numbers, we make a difference. With that being said, I will see you guys next week. We have the other guy who we interviewed. What was his name? Mr.
Darwin Osborne.
Yes, Mr. Osborne. So Mr. Osborne will be here next week. He was 21 years old when he was incarcerated. I'm going to kind of give you guys an overall. I believe he states that he did not commit that crime. Neither here nor there, but from Virginia, he ended up in Colorado. His story is not as sweet as Mr. Douglas's story has been. So let's look into listening next week. And guys, if there's any ways, and ladies and gentlemen, if there's any way that you guys can help, because that's what we're doing this for. We need your help. We need your help with some advice. I need somebody who knows Colorado law. I need somebody who knows Virginia law. I need somebody who knows Jersey law. Help us. Help us help them get, at least, like I say, hey, if you don't want to release them, keep them in home confinement. At least let them be with their loved ones. At least let them be with their loved ones with an ankle bracelet. I bet you they'll take that over prison all day. At least they're getting a nice meal and a nice bed. That's for sure. So with that being said, and a lot more than 23 hours without no sunlight to be able to go out, we all need vitamin D to survive. With that being said, I will see you guys next Wednesday at noon. So be looking for that interview with Mr. Osborne next Wednesday at noon. You all have a good one. Ciao.